Howdy, everybody out there in podcast land. Yes, it's me again, Rudroni Davy, your host for the Get Happy podcast. Let's do this thing. And today I am so very excited to have the fabulous, marvelous, sexy, gorgeous, brilliant Simla Ozsezgin as my guest. And the crowd goes wild. And thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show with us today. And I'm so happy to have you. We've taken so many classes together, and we actually got our certified facilitators, in Costa Rica together, which was amazing. This is when I first got to meet this sexy, hot babe. And we were inseparable. We even went horseback riding in the mornings. It was like, we could go riding at 6 a.m. when it wasn't miserably hot. So there we were, riding our horses. It was so much fun. So Simla, if you would please let our listeners know more about you, who you are, what you do, all the things.
Oh, thank you for having me. I mean, I like the Costa Rica days. I was there when you were talking about the horse riding and stuff. How I miss those days.
Same. Ooh.
Yeah, how does it get any better? I'm Simla Ozsezgin, as you said, and your pronunciation was really good, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. I'm going to take another bow for those of you watching in YouTube land.
I know it's so hard. I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and talk to the entity certified facilitator too. Last 7 years. I am facilitating people, doing classes, doing a lot of sessions, and empowering people. They know what to know, they know, And I'm so excited. You see, I can't even talk.
I love this so much. You see, as you can tell from her lovely, not American accent,
Yes.
Simla is from another part of the world, and we've gotten to play with that as well. She has hosted me for classes where she translated in Turkish. So you're from Turkey.
And I'm from Turkey, Istanbul. And yes, that's classes like right
voice for you. Oh yeah, relationship done different and right voice for you. You did both.
And
wow.
Classes changed a lot.
Thank so much fun. and she's going to host me for Living Beyond Gaslighting coming up soon.
Yes. And hey, yeah. Yes, so already.
I'll make sure that there's links down below so you guys can check into that. And I am going to I'm so happy to be her first. You have no idea. I'm going to be the first to host Simla in English for Talk to the Entities.
Oh my God.
Make no mistake, it's online, but trust me, there's a lot that's going to be going on with beings without bodies. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about Talk to the Entities, please, my love?
Talk to the Entities is an Access Consciousness special class, and which I really love to facilitate. It's very exciting for me every time I facilitate that class, and to see people's face and end of the class, what they say, before and after pictures and everything. So it'll be my first English Talk to the Entities class with you. I adore you. And
I can't wait.
I'm so excited, really. And this month, actually, end of this month, I am facilitating Turkish version. And then on May, I facilitate 2 English versions. Oh my goodness.
Wow. You are showboating now.
Yeah, I love spirit world. I love Talk to the Entities. I am pretty much having fun with them all the time. And to empower people what their capacity are about the spiritual world, because most of the time we don't know our awareness. All people have this capacity, and this class actually has a lot of tools.
Mm, mm. So what's one of your favorite tools to use with the Talk to the Entities class?
Which one?
I know there's so many, right?
There's so many. So I love clearing. I mean, I know now when to clear entities. This is the important part. But actually, I think to get messages from them, and I love business hours. Like it's very important for me. I have a alarm in my phone every day. I have business hour. It's just sometimes just 5 minutes, sometimes half an hour. But I'm just being with them without any judgment and receiving from them and downloading
Hmm.
the other my favorite tool and pretty much acknowledging them and to know being with them all the time and receiving. They taught me how to receive, I can tell.
Wow. I can only imagine because if you're a being without a body, most people don't see you or hear you or know that you
Yes.
even exist. So when they find someone like you, I imagine they get super excited. They're like, oh gosh, she can actually perceive us. And so I can't imagine how you could keep it. You're a lot more, let me just say, you're a lot more generous than I do because I also have office hours. Mine is every Sunday, you got 15 minutes and that's it. Unless you're going to bring me clients or money or because, beings without bodies don't have jobs. So they can't necessarily pay me, but they can get me upgrades on airline flights. They can,
Right.
they can whisper into someone else's ear about my classes,
And
things of this nature. And that's
they,
been,
they always want to contribute to you, actually.
oh, huh. Speak more about that.
Um, I know they don't have body, but they're everywhere and you can perceive them. And I see them most of the time. Sometimes in a human body, sometimes it's just a voice, sometimes just the wind, in all different forms.
Mm.
And sometimes you can just hear the whispers, but they all around here. And they're like us, there's a like a human beings. There's a really kind ones. There's a really like killer ones. When you're aware of them and when you know how to clear, you just clear first, and then you can be with them. You can make your team around you, and you can give them a job too. I mean, they wanna get job and they wanna contribute to you.
Huh.
Sometimes they are giving you just a message. You can just take the message. And if you want to answer or if you want to choose to do what they say, you can do that. If not, you can tell them, I don't want to do that right now. And find someone else. you know.
I love it. Love it. I am not going to choose that today, but thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
said something very, very interesting, and I don't know if our listeners caught it or not, but very interesting. You said sometimes I see them in a human body. So
Mhm.
can you speak more about how an entity that doesn't have a body could be in a human body?
Yes. I'll give you some example. Okay, me and my husband running restaurant. So one day I was in a restaurant and it was between 2 and 5 p.m. time. So by that time, we are not that busy. So I saw someone sitting on the booth and there was no one in the dining room by that time. Me and my husband was on the bar area, was talking, and I saw someone just like with a blonde man, very handsome, wearing like green jacket and just sitting like this and say, hi. So I was like, hi. And then I just ran to the bar to my husband, why didn't you give the menu to him, He just came and sit there and saying hi and nobody taking care of him. So he was like, what man? And then I turned back and I didn't see it anymore. So it's just a 1 second thing, just they're just make you see them maybe just 2 seconds. That's it. And then I was like, it was very, very, very normal thing for me. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. That was an entity. And he was like, what?
What does your husband think about you talking to entities? Does he think you're cooking for Cocoa Puffs or,
Yeah, it was when I first started to talk to the entities, and it was like 2-3 years ago. Now he got used to that.
Yeah.
He's
That's
like,
just fun.
yours are here.
It's funny you say this because I have that in my lineage. My grandmother and my great grandmother were both mediums. One used to do automatic writing for the Pope in Italy, believe it or not. So crazy. So in the Vatican somewhere are these books that she had written, and she talked to people on the other side. They did what we call it in America, I don't know if you have a name for it, seances, where you could talk to the dead or spirits that were no longer in physical form. So my mom remembers as a child sitting around a table with several people, that wanted to know about a dead relative, and she would be able to pull them in and talk to them. And sometimes the table would move and all these freaky deaky things. And it was my mother's mother, so my grandmother, came through once and said, you're going to have this prophetic child. You're going to have this child that will.
They knew that.
Yeah. And so my mother, she's waiting for all the signs that they gave her, right? And she has her first child, no signs, boy. Then she has a girl, no signs. Then she has another boy, no signs. And then she has a girl, and she's like done. She doesn't want any more children. And then I come along, and then I have a younger sister also. But she knew it was me. She said I was standing up in my crib, pointing and going, talking gibberish more or less. But I do remember it. I remember calling them glow people because they would illuminate. She saw nothing, but for me, my eyes would be like this because they were so bright, right? And basically, I got glow people from Glowworm because we had a show in America called Romper Room, and there was this worm that you bounced up, you rode on it, and it would light up. So it was called Glowworm, and so I called them the glow
I love it.
people.
I love that. Yeah, when I was kid, I was pretty much seeing them and playing them, playing with my dolls, like talking with them, and they were all around me. And I didn't know no one don't see them. It was very normal life for me. And then one day mom came and, who are you talking with? I'm like, you're not see this kid. They're coming and we are playing and they're leaving. I'm like, and then my mom, okay, and then left the room. And then next day she came. I think she thought about it, how to talk to me.
Right. Yes. I've got to set my child straight.
Yeah. And then she told me not to say anything about around people and not to talk with them around people because people might think that I'm crazy,
Yeah.
and it's not a good thing. She's scared too, I believe. So then I just stopped that.
Mm.
I was like, I remember 6-year-old, 7-year-old.
Mm.
And
Wow.
then once I met with Access Consciousness and I just saw there's a talk to the entities class, I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah, and someone can let me do that.
Right. They're giving you permission now to be crazy, right? And my mother said the same thing. She said, I remember because I was so sensitive to people's energies. And I remember they had a cocktail dinner party thing. And I said out loud in front of everybody, me being me, why is her energy field all over, or not energy field, but why is her body all over his body? I don't remember exactly how I said it. And my mom just kind of yanked me out of the room and she said, you can't be talking about things like that in front of people. They're going to think you're crazy. And what she told me later when I was in my 20s, because at that time I might have been 6 or 7 years old, was that everybody in the room knew that these two people that were married to other people were having an affair. And I had somehow picked up on the energy of their energy being all over each other. You know, energy is our first language, y'all. That's how
Right.
that works. And the same thing with the globe people. It was like she's, you know, my father said it was blasphemy. I was raised a very, very good charismatic Catholic child. And there's no such thing. You know, you're not talking to ghosts. You're not talking to people that aren't there. You know, you can't possibly. And so my mother made it very clear also. She was afraid, like yours, I'm sure. And yet she'd grown up with it. So she was used to it, and she has the same capacities. Oh, Simla, my mother's an entity magnet. Poor Celeste, no joke.
Wow.
Right? They're
Well,
always knocking on the door.
I
What's
want to
that?
meet with Celeste. I want to meet with Celeste.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. We'll make it happen. One of these days, we'll get you to Nashville, Tennessee, in the U.S. of A., and you'll get to meet her. You'll get to meet her in person. What would it take, right? I would love that. I would love it. I would love it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I got it from, but I get it. You had it as a child, and so you saw an opportunity to not be made wrong for it, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, and the awareness of we have and how we stop and make it just stop that awareness is make our lives we can aware anything, but we are aware. Sometimes awareness is not easy, but
Well,
when
that
you
makes-
know what tools you use, you can
Right.
use, and then you can change everything, and you are facilitating them too.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
like to facilitate them too. I like to transform and change their energy because they're most of them unconscious.
Oh, huh. Well,
Yeah.
I've actually, and I can concur because I've had relatives that I've been able to talk to once they have left their bodies. And,
Hmm.
and make no mistake, y'all, if Aunt Nellie was a bitch in this lifetime, her ghost is gonna be a bitch too. Just saying. Just saying. You know, 'cause my father was very abusive and he kept popping up wanting forgiveness and all of this. And it was still the same manipulative energy that I had remembered as a child. And he has, not by me, he has been facilitated by other TTTE
Hmm.
facilitators, talk to the entity facilitators, and things shifted and he was finally able to leave, you know.
See? Yeah, you can facilitate them. You can make them conscious too. You can transform their energy too, and they like it.
Mhm.
Because they don't know what they do most of the time.
Right, right. Can you give us an example of somebody you facilitated with some kind of story about talk to the entities where you had them in a class and something really interesting happened or
Okay. Okay. When I was in Istanbul, this summer actually happened. It was talk to the entities live class, and there was I think 9 people in it, and
wow.
just one of them was taken, the second one. And I have a lot of clients coming to our class like on me like third time, fourth time, fifth time.
Wow.
They're just addicted, because I love it. Every time is different. The
Yeah,
name is same, but every time is different.
that's true. And you
So,
guys, when you have a class like that, it's the people that show up that create the energy of the class. So
yes,
no two
yes,
classes are the same. And I taught classes in Paducah, Kentucky over the weekend.
right.
And I had a woman that said, well, I've taken every class from you, or I've taken classes that you've hosted. And I was like, oh,
See,
okay.
see, yeah, they love your energy, and changing everything every time different. So in that class, there was a sweet woman, um, and we were just taking the messages. You can just doing with someone else, asking question, and is there any entity, and is there any message. We are just was doing that exercise.
Mhm.
So, and then one entity came to her, and when we asked who is it, it was um, her abortion kit.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
I
So
mean,
they hadn't even come, they didn't even become a person.
yes. I mean, it
Right.
was an abortion kid, and she never forget about it. She was always sad. Yeah, it was like 10 years. It was a
Oh,
10
wow.
years before it happened. And she has now 2 kids. So, but she never forget about that. She was so sad. She was so, always thinking about her. And
Yeah.
then And when we asked what she wants from her, she said, please don't think about me and
Huh,
just forgive yourself.
huh.
Forgive yourself for it. And I'm good. I'm really good. I am happy. I'm always contributing to you. And she started to cry. And
Sure.
it was a very different moment, but she was very holding into her. She didn't want to leave it. And but she asked to freedom. So then I said, what she wants now, and she said, I want her to clear. I was like, okay, let's clear her. First, she didn't want to do that, and I was just make her comfortable, and then we cleared. And when we cleared that moment, we had earthquake, real earthquake. And it was live and online class, and it was on Zoom too, and we recorded that moment.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
there was an earthquake, and in Istanbul, we are waiting. People waiting, assuming that we're gonna have a big earthquake because it happens all the time, like
Huh.
California. And then we just ran out the outside, and we were like, oh my goodness, it was like 6, 7, something like that. It was a huge earthquake. So
All
and
right.
then we went out. It was a hotel, just a meeting room, and people was like normal. We were like, there was earthquake, right? People like, what are you talking about?
Oh my goodness, no.
No earthquake. Well,
So
we
it
had
didn't.
earthquake.
Wow.
One entity was leaving, made an earthquake. So
Wow. And
we
when you
couldn't
say
move.
leaving and you say clearing, are you suggesting that they're leaving this realm now, that they don't know they're stuck in this realm? And so when you clear them, you're allowing them to
Yes,
ascend
when you
or,
clear them, you are asking question. Who are you? Who were you before that?
right,
You know, who will you be in the future? So then they realize that who are they,
right,
and then they're just making choice. You are giving them to choose something.
right.
But when you hold them like her, they can't leave. So
Oh, I see.
yeah,
She was unwilling to let her go because of all the blame, shame, regret, guilt.
yes, all the distractor implants and everything. When
Sure,
she
sure.
when she choose to, willing to leave her, that after we cleared, she left in this reality, and we got the earthquake.
Right.
And it's recorded, and it's still just made me really. It was a different, experience for us.
Oh my gosh.
That was true, yeah.
That's amazing. I actually have a story I want to tell, an entity story I'd like to tell, but we've got to take a small break for my sponsor. So
All
if you
right.
guys grab a little something, grab a snack and come on back. We'll be right back right after these words from our sponsor.
And now a word from our sponsor. Feeling a little funky? Devi Essentials Pure Oil Blends can maximize your inner balance. These 100% pure oil blends are designed to vibrationally open up the channels within the physical and multi-dimensional bodies. Your body. So if you're trying to find your groove, let these pure essential oil blends work for you. For more information, go to rudranidevi.com. That's RUDRANIDEVI.com.
What creations are asking to be in this world? What would they like to look like? What contributions are your creations? Here at Designing Essentials, we ask these questions plus many more on how your creations can contribute not only to your life and living, but also to the world. Design in Essentials. Be you. Design your life. For more information and discover possibilities with your creations, visit www.designinaessentials.com.
And we're back. with my fabulous friend, Miss Simla, and she's a hottie, isn't she? Oh, I guess I don't. I usually just pick this up when I'm singing. So, fabulous hottie, Simla, la 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 la. So, so I love that we're having this conversation about entities. I want to tell a little story. When I first moved back into my house, because what I had done is I had gutted it and lived in an apartment so I could add on and move my mother in, who's
entities here.
hold on a second. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. There's
Please. Yes,
they don't want me, they don't want me to tell the story, evidently. So just so you guys know, sometimes entities are like gremlins. And if they don't like something, like I had entities in my car didn't want me anymore. And so it kept creating all these problems. And I finally traded it in. And I had a Audi and I traded it in for a Mercedes, and that car loves me.
Oh my God, I just had the same thing.
Oh, really?
So my car, yeah, didn't want me to sell it, but I wanted to get a new car, okay? But my car didn't want to leave me. And I asked the entities if they want to leave. They said no. And I was like, okay, then make me money, bring me money to get another car, then I didn't have to sell you.
Oh,
And
that's
then
an
they did.
idea.
Yeah, and then they did.
I
And
wish I had known that trick.
yeah, and after I bought my new car, after a week or something, I asked again if she wanna stay or leave, because our garage space didn't wasn't enough
Right.
for
I'm not
cars.
driving you now. Did you notice that I'm actually driving this one over here?
Uh-huh. And then he said yes. And the next day I sold it.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I wish
looking
I
for
had known that. I should have had this conversation with you before. Well, by that time I already had the new car, but so many problems. It was such a lemon. And I bought it brand new. I'm one of those people that buys a brand new car. That's just me. So
me too.
before that's right, because we can. So before I go into the rest of my story, when we got knocked out by whatever entities, I don't know what was going on. Can you explain a little bit about what just actually happened? About me getting, well, not about the car, but all of a sudden I get dropped out of the Zoom.
Yes. We after our break, we were just started, and then she was gonna tell us another story about entities, and she started to talk about them, and then she just dropped from the internet. So I knew that, and I was like, haha, okay, entities, please go back. Please let us do that. And then she came back and we started again. And I so got used to that, because every class I do like talk to the entities. Sometimes they don't me to tell some stories.
Right. Right.
They do that, and I know by that time not to talk, and I stop. And when it's time, I'm asking, is it now is the time?
Right.
So if they say yes, then I tell. Obviously,
So
they
do
didn't
you
want.
get that I can actually tell the rest of this story?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't get dropped again. That was funny. That's never, well, no, I take that back. I was actually interviewing Monish, who you took your second
Yes.
TTT classroom. I was hosting him. And
Yes.
I interviewed him for the Get Happy podcast. And he just kept dropping in and out and dropping in and out. And he was talking about entities as well. And he made no sense. When we went back to the video, it was like, I need to, and I was like, and so I tried to re-interview him and we never could get it together. And so
Wow.
it never took place. It was like the entities did not want him telling on them or something. It was the strangest thing, but I've never been dumb. So, but now I can tell my story. So I'm going to tell it, y'all. And if I disappear, I probably won't
Yeah,
tell it.
ask them if now is the time.
Okay. So my mom is coming for a visit. She doesn't live here yet. She's asleep. I'm asleep. And in the middle of the night, I hear fire, fire, fire. And the fire alarm is going off. And I'm like, that's really strange. So the first thing I did is I ran into her room. She's sitting up and I said, are you okay? She says, I'm fine. I said, okay, I'll be back. I don't smell anything. I'm just going to walk around, see if I can find anything. I go into every room. There ain't no fire, y'all. No fire. So it shuts off by itself, the alarm. You know, I'm like, why didn't the fire people come with the alarm? I'm expecting the fire truck to show up, because the fire alarm went off. So, but nothing happened. Go back to sleep, wake up. We have a conversation about it. I'm like, that was really weird. Y'all, it happens the next night. No joke. Again, middle night, fire, fire. So I go run into her room. Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. Okay, I'm just going to circle, come back. I'm looking everywhere, can't find anything. The alarm stops. I didn't think to ask any questions, Simla. I was like, it's like 4 years ago. It's like, it happens a third night in a row. So now I'm going to every room. And this time, for some reason, I happened to look up in the music room. We have a soundproof music room where Celeste teaches piano. And I see that the fire alarm or the smoke alarm is yanked from the ceiling and dangling by the wire. So I'm like, okay, it shouldn't even be making noise. How is the alarm going off?
Yeah.
And so the next day I call the contractor because he's still finishing up some things. And I'm like, I tell him about it. So he sends this guy over with a big old ladder who reconnects it. And he goes, this was yanked out. I have to rewire it. And I went, yanked out? It's a cathedral ceiling. There's no way I don't even have a tall ladder to yank it out. So then I reached out I'm trying to remember somebody else I had hosted. Oh, Gosha, back when she was in Access, because I had hosted her for 2 entity classes. And I asked her about it. We asked all these questions. And it was this capacity thing that my mother has with entities where they're mad at her because she will not partake. They're like, bang on the wall, move the bed. And so she's like, I tell her about it. We do some clearings and it all stops, because what's weird is the alarm went off and no fire truck also. So that's another weird part of it. So then like the next time she visits, I'm with a client in my healing room. This is my healing room. And I hear this loud crash. And so I ask my client, is it okay if I go check this out? So I go and I don't see anything. And then I go into my mom's bedroom and she's shaking. And I go, what's going on? She goes, they don't want me here. They don't want me here. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, it sounded like a large thing of silverware had hit the floor outside of her door. Well, there was no silverware drawer outside of her door. But when I walked back into the kitchen, I saw that her drawer had been yanked all the way out. And it's on those wheels that stop it, where you have to lift it to get it out. And it was all the way out and on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you guys, talk to me. She doesn't want to talk to you. She had a whole life childhood, but she has PTSD from childhood, seances and all of it. Leave her the fuck out of this. And that's where my business hours came from.
Yeah.
True story.
They want to reach her, but she refuses it.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to reach you, maybe to give her some message they can give for someone else too, you know.
Ah, so truth, were they trying to give her a message? What do you know, Simla?
I mean, we need to ask her this question, but to me, yes.
Well, I always wonder if her mother and grandmother are trying to come through because they both had those talents and abilities.
And
And that felt
sometimes most of them want to clear, believe me. They can't live without clearing, so they want us to clear them. Then they can be free.
I might have to have Celeste take the class when I host you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be fun?
Great, and it'll be so much fun with her. I love her.
Oh, absolutely. No joke. No joke.
Every class is different. Like all the people come in with very scary face first. But you know what? I got a lot of feedback after classes, and they say, "Oh, we got a lot of access consciousness classes, and we left this class and because you know this is not an easy class to take for them by that time. But after that, they all saying this class should get first."
Ah, yeah, because there's no prerequisites for this class. That's what's so cool, right? Or are there?
Bars.
Just bars. Just bars.
bars.
Which most people that got to access because of
Other
bars.
than that, this class gives you how to trust yourself.
Yeah.
How to believe in you, what you know. No, believing your knowing is an easy thing in these days, especially. So when you trust yourself to acknowledge yourself and willing to receive from everything, and when you're willing to receive from entities, you are willing to receive from everyone and everything.
I love that you said that. That is so true.
Yeah, right? It's
that is so true.
The word to receive from them. And when you receive from them, there is nothing else you can't receive.
I love it.
And there is no fear after that. There is no fear in the world at all. There's just awareness and choices.
Well, I know that my assistant and partner in co-creation of my classes, Miss Alyssa Falks, she was kind of really scared of entities. And she took a class and now she talks to them. Now she's so excited to be able to be a part of this class as well, because she's all about the entities now. She realizes that she'll be there. The beauty of it is even your business is an entity that you can talk to. Even, your house is an entity that you can talk to. Your clothes, your jewelry. Okay. This one was like, for those of you that are not on YouTube, you can't see this beauty, but I'm wearing this emerald and diamond necklace.
I love it. It's gorgeous.
She was like, I really must be worn today. And so then I was like talking to the other jewelry and going, who else wants to play? Well, then this beauty popped up and said, well, it only makes sense that I come play because I'm an emerald and diamond, or an emerald bracelet. And then this little emerald ring.
This beauty wanted to be here.
Oh, I was with you.
Yes, you remember?
I do.
Yeah.
We love our jewels, don't we?
Yes. I mean, when you talk with everything, like after to be a facilitator of talk to the classes, everything started talking with me, not just entities.
Yeah.
Not just entities, even just pen, book, clothes. I mean, everything is live for me. There is nothing like just stuff. True. And when you talk with them, to listen their whispers and just create from that your day or whatever you want to create, it's so much fun. I mean, my reality is different than everyone, and you get your difference. You acknowledge your difference and how different you are realizing, and then it's not a wrong thing.
That's true. I mean, every morning when I wake up, I'm in the space of, okay, what is required now? Business, do you need me, or is there something else? I have an essential oil company as well. And they've been talking a lot lately. I don't know if you can see, she's got hair like me.
I love
This one
it.
is this one's release. For those of you, you're gonna have to jump on YouTube now, y'all, because there's too many visuals in this one. But you know, I never know what it's gonna be. Now I'm on TikTok. Okay. I've only
Yeah, I
been on
saw it. I love it.
I am hooked on the tickety talk. And it's one of those really weird things. I mean, Thursday will be 2 weeks that I've been on TikTok, and I've already got like almost 800 followers. And it was one of those things where I was just sitting at my desk and I'm like, welcome to my tickety talk. And at the very end, I saw Pinky and I grabbed her, and she was furrowed. So she looked like she was mad. And my angry Benny baby. And all of a sudden everybody's commenting on this entity called Pinky. You know, it's like anything and everything. Yeah, she's got a mohawk. She's pink.
Yes.
The glittery,
I
you
love
know.
that.
And this is her friend Angel Unicorn, or yeah,
Oh,
because of the wings, right?
oh,
And then she has a duck unicorn. This is a
oh.
rubber duck that I got when I bought my hot tub. It was floating around in the hot tubs. And I said, well, if I'm buying a hot tub today, I gotta have this little. And she was like, thank you for getting me out of here. Oh my God. You know, I talk to everything, as you can
Yes.
see.
See?
And
Yeah.
so it's not just beings without bodies, y'all. It's
Yes.
also this chair I'm sitting on. It's also duck unicorn.
Yeah.
It's
love
all
it.
things.
I love
So
it.
I love
Okay.
that. So whatever you do, you know, I'm sure you're not curious at all to take Seamless class that I'll be hosting in English. And
English you're gonna start May 3rd.
Yep.
Maybe between May 3rd and 10th, 2022.
so it's 10 calls, y'all, 90 minutes. And I'll have all the sign up stuff. It's 90 minutes, right? Each day?
90 minutes, 8 calls.
8 calls. I'm sorry, not 10 calls. I lied. It's 8 calls. I stand corrected.
Obviously, they want 10 calls, I guess.
Maybe they do, but that's going to cost you. That's going to cost you. You know, if we get to the end of 8 calls and we need 2 more, you know, we'll do an add-on, maybe. It just depends on what's going to create the most. That's where I come from.
Yeah,
So I
can
have to ask you, I got to ask you, Simla, because usually I find out how people found access to begin with. Do you have an access story?
Yeah. I mean, as I told you, I was always aware, but I didn't know what to use my awareness, how to use my advantage or how to choose. I had really bad migraine attacks
Oh,
all of my life. Like, and it was very last 2 months, 2015 summer was so hard for me. Every day I was like putting something on my head, you know, I don't want to see any lies, I don't want to talk with someone else. And I was just, I wasn't happy.
right.
And I tried everything, every medications, every doctor, everything. So then one of my friends told me there is access consciousness bars. Why don't you try this? I was like, okay,
Bum,
I
bum,
tried.
bum.
And I
Yeah,
tried
so
that.
wait, I just want, for anybody that might be listening for the very first time, access bars is a modality in access consciousness that Gary Douglas, the founder of access consciousness, and it's his fault we're all talking right now or having this conversation. He created this modality where there are 32 points in the head that when you touch them in different groupings, it's kind of like a delete button for the thoughts, feelings, emotions, and the lower harmonics that you've allowed without even knowing it to kind of control your life, your body, all the things. And that's the class that's the prerequisite actually for the Talk to the Entities classes. That's the only one. So I'll have information underneath so you can look further into that if you're interested in finding a class near you or a facilitator that can facilitate bars for you. So you hear about this class.
So, and then it wasn't class. I just heard there you can get a session. You know, there's a bar, 32 points. They are just touching. You're just sleeping, whatever you want, and then you know it'll shift you. And and the thing
She
that
said shift, not shit you. She said shift you. Just want to clarify for those of you with dirty minds. Okay, go.
Oh yeah. And the thing that was gets me, you don't have to believe that.
Yeah.
because every other modalities, you have to believe, you have to be positive, you have to believe, you don't have to believe that. You just let it in and just relax. That's it. I was like, okay, I tried everything. I tried this too. And then I found someone nearby me. And then I went next day. Luckily, she was, she had time for me. And then I got my very first session. But before that, when I go there, I started to cry. I cried like an hour. And I was like, I don't know why I'm crying right now. All the energies came out.
Goodbye. I'm mourning the old me, the one that's miserable with all the headaches. I'm going to lose her forever.
Very like drama queens. And then I learned that nothing happens to me. That's very realizing thing for me. Like nothing happens to me because I was believing that there's something maybe I did wrong and I have that pain all the time. So something happened to me from outside and I was trying to find the cause of that.
Sure.
So, and then when I learned nothing happens to me, I create it. And I love it to create. When you accept
even if you're creating shit, I know, not shift,
I know,
but shit.
they're really good creators. So then I got 2 more sessions. And after 3 sessions, I was in holiday, 15 days for south of the Turkey. And I was wondering, what is this access consciousness? And I was on YouTube. I just watched 500 videos.
Hey, you guys, there's a lot of free, there's so much free stuff on YouTube, and even from me, and I'm sure from Simla as well, although she's speaking another language, but just the same. I mean,
all language, you can find it.
Yeah.
So then when I came back from my holiday, I wanted to start with the class, I want to learn. And even my husband told me, oh, you look so happy. And I didn't get any headache for a week. And it's impossible for me, like for a week, like 7 days. No headache. I was looking at Twitter and almost waiting for it comes,
Right.
Nothing happens. Oh my goodness. Is it real life?
Pain. I've lost my pain. No, sorry.
Well, after that, I learned how to deal with it. Sometimes now I sense that it's coming, but I know it's not mine. And I'm using all the tools and stuff and just, send them away. And
Okay. I got to explain something because you just jumping all over the place. She said, I realized it's not mine. And what we've learned in Access Consciousness is 99%, and I'm probably being generous with that, 99.99% of our thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not ours, but we're such psychic SpongeBob SquarePantses of the universe, which is a character in America cartoon, that we pick up everybody else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and we think that they're ours. Yeah. And that's a lot of the things that get locked into our body that gets released when you're getting your bars run. Mm-hmm. So when you said, I realized these migraines weren't even mine, and so I could get rid of them, we return, what's called returning to sender, because taking on their pain and suffering is not going to actually fix it for them, and it's only going to make your life worse. So why would you do it? So anyway, because a lot of people say, well, you're going to return it to them. That's awful. Well, the thing is it doesn't leave them. You just take it on and they still have it. And now you have it also.
When you send them with consciousness attached, you are contributing them too.
Yeah. Return to sender with consciousness and awareness attached. That way they get an awareness that something needs to change.
Because so they bought from someone else too. They bought that from someone else too.
Sure.
So then you are contributing to them. So when you aware so much, you can create some pain in your body because you store everything and you limit yourself. You just close your capacity and everything. And with this entity class, like talk to the entity class, there is a lot of people got rid of their pain, body pain, like chronic pain, ache. So because they're trying to reach you and you don't understand, you don't aware. I mean, you're aware, but you don't acknowledge that, you don't receive that, and they're trying to.
like with Celeste shaking the bed. Like
They just
literally shaking.
started like this, and you're like, and then
Right.
they're doing this. They're like,
You guys
"Oh."
can't see her. They're listening on Apple and all that, but she's like, they're doing like this. And then she's tapping herself on the shoulder and you're doing this. She says, you're brushing it away. So I'm trying to give you the visual. You guys are going to have to go to YouTube now because there's been so many things that, you know, we've been talking that you need the visual. Sorry. Make think of it as, you know, something dirty, but I need the visual. But so here it is. You realize the headaches are, you realize you have an awareness now. Hey, this isn't even mine. Return to sender with loving kindness and awareness attached.
I mean,
And then
I was using that as a coping mechanism for myself
Sure.
to deal with life and everything. Then I learned a lot of access, and then my journey started with the foundation, COP, and stuff like very fast. I wanted to get all classes, you know.
Sure.
And every class changed my life, every tools, and I started to be joyful all the time.
Which is just a choice, y'all.
It is, yeah.
I'm just saying. We're holding up props again. I'm sorry. You're all looking at. Take a look.
Using happiness.
I
Yeah,
love it.
it's a
Also
choice.
speaks Portuguese, Spanish. It now speaks Russian, and it's being translated into Arabic. If you can believe that the Arabs want to be happy. Who
Wow,
knew?
awesome. Because happiness is a choice. When you choose happiness and when you use tools, your life gets even easier, joyful, glorious.
And by the way, you guys, happiness and joyfulness is actually your natural state.
Yes.
You know, you are trained to believe otherwise. It's like Mother Nature. She doesn't have a point of view about anything. Even
No.
if there's a giant storm and half the trees in the forest fall to the ground, she's not going to start weeping. It's just what's happening. And yet, you know, if we had a bunch of trees fall on our house,
Yeah.
we were, you know, all the things. And yes, that's, you know, that's not a great thing in this reality to have happen. But what if you could not have a point of view? Like a friend of mine in Nashville, we get a lot of tornadoes. You get earthquakes, we get tornadoes. And his wife had all this property for parents. The second parent had died. And so they inherited his wife and her siblings had inherited all these houses and they're getting ready to sell them. And all of a sudden a tornado comes through and just flattens them.
Wow.
And, you know, he was like, oh, and so we've been going back and forth, driving back and forth, trying to figure this out. And we decided, you know, we could have sold the properties, but for way less than if a house was there and insurance would cover the house. So now they're building the houses and the houses are so much nicer than the houses they were going to have. And so they're going to be able to get a lot more for the houses and the property, and the insurance paid for it. It was like with my house, we had a hailstorm and it destroyed my roof. Well, it was a brand new roof because I had gutted and redone my home. So my roof was 4 years old, 30-year roof. What's right about this, I'm not getting well. They go to take the old roof off and they realize that my contractor had not actually put it on correctly, didn't have the tarp or the paper in between. And so it was never going to last 30 years. And if I had tried to take it to my insurance, I would have been like, yeah, but it wasn't even built correctly the first time. So my $1,000 deductible got me a brand new roof because I'd had the insurance for so long. I got grandfathered into where I had even the gutters, everything was the gutter garden, all the things were replaced that are not now added in to someone who has bought insurance in the last 5 years, but I've had insurance with my guy for years. And I would listen to my mother.
That's amazing. It's a gift.
It was. I would hear my mother talking to my siblings. She goes, oh, it's terrible. The hail tore up the roof and we had to replace the roof and it was $1,000. And then you hear me and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are not going to believe this. Okay. So the hail totally destroyed my roof and the roof wasn't done right the first time. So now it's like super duper done right. 30-year note. I mean, so it's all perspective. So what if
you were willing to see all the possibilities?
Yeah.
What is right for you, and
Right.
you get gifts. When you go to problem and all the limiting point of views, then you get what you're gonna get. You get that.
Right. Because your point of view creates your reality, y'all. It's not the other way around. So If there was one takeaway, that's what I would like for you to take away today.
Yes.
Your point of view creates your reality. My point of view was, oh my goddess, how cool is this? And you know, Celeste's car was parked in the driveway and not any hail damage, just the roof, not her car.
Is something.
Right? Right? How cool is that? So
How
cool.
good
So
is
cool.
that?
Okay, well,
Oh.
I could talk to you forever. You know this because you know we're like sisters doing it, wait, doing it for themselves.
I can listen to you like forever.
I do have to
Oh,
ask you one last question though, because this is the Get Happy podcast based on this lovely book, Choosing Happiness. So I got to know, and so do the people out there in podcast land. What does Simla do to get her happy on? What do you do, honey?
do you do? I mean, I am most part of the time happy person. I'm dancing. I'm actually dancing teacher, like classical ballet. I was like teaching ballet and like 15 years. And I love to dance. When I'm dancing, I forget everything. And other than that, I love facilitating. When I'm doing, I know this is my job, but it's not the job to me. It's just like a
Same.
hobby, whatever you say. I love facilitating people. I love to see their face changing when I'm facilitating.
Sure.
I love to get, I can't wait to get feedbacks, what change in their life occurred. And this is most of the part of my life, facilitating, doing classes, teaching, and empowering to show them how infinite being they are, how powerful they are. And other than that, I love dance. I love to be with my dog.
Okay, you guys, she had a birthday party for her dog.
Yes.
And the pictures, streamers, balloons. I mean, the dog's like going, what is all of this? I'm teasing. I'm sure the dog was all in it.
He's in a dog body, magical being. He's not dog. It's just like he gets all the classes.
Sure.
With me. He's just here sleeping right now. And like, yeah, he deserves to get birthday party to me.
Of course, of course. But I found it so fascinating because my cat doesn't even get a Christmas present, okay? I figure it's Christmas every day for you because you don't even have to work to live here. And I even let you sleep with me now, which I never did until my mom moved in with her cat and you hated each other. So.
I think I get all the celebration thing to use for my life. I mean, I'm finding the excuse to celebrate every day something.
Well, that's a great way to get your happy on. I think we'll end with that. I love it so much.
That makes me happy. Yeah.
Sure.
Celebrating someone, something, even just the world, earth, trees. I love hugging trees.
I'm a tree hugger also. I get it. I commune with Mother Earth every morning from my hot tub. For those of you listening, if you don't know that by now.
Yeah, nature always makes me happy.
Same.
It's a light energy. And I think I like to be alone too most of the time. I mean, a little bit far away from people and judgments makes me happy too.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's, it's so funny. I mean, my mother lives with me now, but I have had so many people say to me, why do you live alone? I said, I have my cat. And believe me, even then, sometimes I'm like, could you go sleep over here? Or whatever. But I get that alone piece also because there's so much energy impaled at us. At least now I know that it's not mine. Whereas in the past, I would think, oh my God, I know I'm a happy person. Why am I having these really weird thoughts?
Yeah, you're the happy person that I know, just a few happy person that I know. You're one of them.
I am coined the happiness lady.
Happiness.
The happiness lady. It's like, oh my God, you're the happiness lady, or you're the singing lady, or whatever it is. And I guess there's a lot worse things to be called, y'all. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Please visit my Ticket Talk, and you can have even more of that because it's all at Ticket Talk. I loves it. So we'll have all the info on how we can people if they're interested in these classes. But if they were looking for you specifically, where could they find you? Simla, you're on. Where would they find you?
you can come to my Instagram, Simla Ozsezgin, or Facebook, and my website now under construction, but it will come like accessimla.com, and it'll be, I think, next month be ready.
Okay.
And my email, accessimla@gmail.com. You can
There
find
you
it.
go. Woohoo! Awesome. I'll have it all beneath. So thank you so much again for being my guest.
So much to having me. It was so much fun.
I know. We have fun on the
I adore you. Thank you so much.
You too. We better have fun on the Get Happy podcast, y'all, right? And if you liked this conversation, please hit the subscribe button. And if you know somebody that this conversation could actually be a contribution to, please share with them. And also, I read all the comments. So if there's anything going on in your world, or there's something you want us to talk about, let me know. And until next time, you guys, thanks for listening. And ciao for now.
Ciao.